Alright, so today we're installing one of these Vinstar Add-A-Wire. We have a short somewhere in the wire and we can't run a new wire in this spot, so it looks like we only need 2 wires to make it work. I have it running right now off of 4 wires with no common, so we don't have no common and no electric heat right now. So I think we only need to grab 2 wires to fix this thing, and then but I haven't installed one of these in a while, so I'm gonna bring you guys along and see if we can get it going. So here's the unit, here's the thermostat, and the way they built this wall, you would think you could just run it right through here, but you can't. It's all stud and main beams and stuff coming through, and all bathroom and water lines, so there's no way to run a new thermostat wire. So this is how I have it ran right now. And I'm just gonna rewire everything and make it work. I'm gonna ohm out some connections to see what we're actually working with on shorted wires, what's shorted, what's not, and work from there. Alright, to check and see if we have any shorts, we're going to check continuity across 2 wires. Now this is a short enough range I could just check continuity across 1 wire if I needed to, but we're just going to connect 1 to here and then 1 to here, and we're going to check continuity. And if they're not connected somewhere through, then it's going to be like that, and that's how it should be. So we're just going to go through and see what we find. Not shorted, not shorted. To con. Huh. So there's nothing even shorted in this wire. Alright. So I disconnected all the wiring. All the low voltage wiring I disconnected from itself, even from all the connection points outside, and I ohmed everything together. And I usually just ohm the lines between each other, then I'll ohm it to ground, and then I'll ohm it to common, and I'm getting absolutely nothing. So that kind of tells me that that's not the issue. I disconnected all these, so I'm going to ohm out this board and test a couple things and see if everything's ohming out right before I proceed. Nothing's popping fuses. The main issue was this condenser was staying on when it didn't need to be on. So we're going to check it out, and then it'll get so low that it pumps itself down and goes out on thermal. So I'm going to re-strip these and retest everything. Well, I thought I was recording and I wasn't. I redid all the connections in here. I ohmed out everything to the board right here. I ohmed it out unplugged and I ohmed it out plugged in. I ohmed out the coil and the reversing valve solenoid. Everything is ohming fine and testing fine. and we got nothing to make this thing run continuously like it's doing. So I'm putting it back together right now, and we're gonna go back downstairs, wire everything back together, and see if maybe it's just the thermostat. It was the culprit the entire time. Because I don't even know if we replaced the thermostat. I was going by the notes from the tech who came here, and he did some bypassing and rewiring. I was going by his notes, and it all sounded good. But when I got here today, before I put in an add-a-wire, I wanted to do my own little self-diagnosis. And what I came up with is all the wiring is fine. There's nothing wrong with the wiring. There's nothing wrong with the board, it seems like, out here. There's nothing wrong with the board downstairs going to the thermostat mounting bracket. But the thermostat is the only thing I haven't added to the system. So we're going to go downstairs. This is really unsafe. Look how close this foot thing is to the wall right here. Really unsafe. And I got to close this back up too, of course, before I forget. This thing is like really heavy. Oh, it's really heavy. Use your head, use your noggin so you don't cut your fingers off. God, that's heavy. Okay, so we're gonna go back to the room, put the thermostat back on, and I'm gonna do some testing, see if the unit keeps running, and if it does, then the issue's the thermostat. That's what we're gonna do. Like, it's blinking, saying it's in delay mode, but the outside unit is running right now, straight running. Now, if it's not the thermostat, it kicked off. It's a bad thermostat. All right, I'm gonna go get a new thermostat. So I probably did that the hard way, but the benefit is I got all new wire nut connections, all clean connections. I know everything is working fine, and so there's no questioning any of that when you're doing troubleshooting. If you just start over, unwire everything, sometimes it's just easier to find any shorts, and in this case the short is in the thermostat. So I'm gonna pop on a new thermostat, and then we're gonna test it out and see if I'm right or not right. Fun. Even though I've done plenty of these, I always double check and see what time it is. 1:35. I always double check the instructions just to make sure everything is what it's. I bet it's not the I bet it's the base. It's doing the same thing. Fan has it kicked on, condenser's running right now. So I bet it's a bad base. So we're gonna take that off. And this is why I like the troubleshooting. Alright. New base is on here. Okay, it's blinking. It's not running. The refrigerant lines aren't running. and it's blinking. So I wonder if he diagnosed a bad thermostat and then didn't change the base out. And it was the base the whole time. It made him think it was a short. Alright, so I'm going to do some more testing. I'm going to turn it off, cool, it's like satisfy it, turn it back on, satisfy it a few times, just to be sure it's working like it should. And we should be good to go. Alright, thermostat just clicked, fan came on, line set came off. We're going to raise it up where it cuts off. Alright, just clicked. Everything should kick off. Everything kicked off. Do it again. We'll crank it down. About 74-ish. Power surges could do this. That's why I always recommend surge protectors. But low voltage, there's no telling. It's usually like bad power from the power company, which we have a lot of. So it happens, and usually the thermostat fails before anything else. I had lightning strike a house directly before, right above an AC unit, and all it did was mess up the thermostat. Now it's blinking. We're just waiting for the timer for it to kick back on. Alright, just click back on. Fans running. So ramping up. Condensers running. I think we are good to go. I'm going to reset that compressor timeout changeover. But I filmed all this with the action camera. If you guys like this kind of view, let me know in the comments, and I'll try to continue filming when I can with this kind of stuff. It's actually a little easier to film with this than with the phone because it's stuck to my chest. But this one's fixed. We are good to go. And I intended to show you how to wire this thing up, but it wasn't even needed. Figured it out. So maybe in a future video we'll get this down for you guys. But closing it out, make sure you like and subscribe. See you on the next one.